Welcome to the unboxing of the AOC AGON AG271UG. It has G-Sync low blue light, 4 milliseconds G to G, 4K HD, shadow control, game color. It is an AGON monitor and it is 27 inches. We can see the same information up top. The same information around the back. Branding on the side, as well as the same information yet again. And some product information, as well as the same information on the other side. So pretty much every side is covered by the same information. Let's go ahead and open it. As with all recent AOC monitors, we can see the unboxing instructions on the box itself. Okay, so we finally have the monitor out. It's very well packed. Let's move it out of the way for now so we can see what contents come with it. We can see on the back of the styrofoam there are the stand parts. Let's have a look at the base of the stand. Again, very well packed. Quite a nice finish on it and very sturdy. Let's unwrap the stand itself. This is the stand for the monitor. Very nice finish again, very solid material. Has a strong spring on it and what appears to be a marker. As for cables, we have our USB cable, the usual AOC driver disc, as well as 3.5mm extender jack. A DisplayPort cable, a HDMI cable, a power cord, as well as a very hefty power brick. Comes with a different mounting plate, which we might not be using. And let's have a look at the monitor. As required, it has an energy rating sticker as well as the information sticker at the bottom. OSD is accessible from the right. There is the monitor name. So the view from top, nothing visible, only the VESA mount, which is 100 by 100mm. Nothing on the left side. Connectors at the bottom, and USB connectors, as well as audio on the side, and a headphone rest. If you have a closer look, there are our USB extenders and our display connectors. A close look at the VESA 100 by 100mm.
So the AOC AGON AG271UG. What do we think about this one? It is a 27-inch 4K monitor, 60Hz IPS panel with 4 milliseconds of response time. Now, things to consider: size, of course. If you do not have space for a 27-inch monitor, this monitor is not for you. But if you can accommodate this size, you might want to think about this. It is a G-Sync monitor. You don't need an NVIDIA card to use this, but it would be good to use an NVIDIA card with it. And I would recommend that you do at this sort of specification. We'll get into that a bit later. Now, 4K, what exactly is 4K? If you're considering 4K and you're not entirely sure what it is, think about Full HD as 1K. You've got 1440p, which we consider the 2K, and you've got the 2160p, which we consider the 4K. Now, how does this 1K and 4K thing work? To put it in simple terms, if you had 4 1080p monitors, you could make one 4K monitor by putting 2 next to each other at the top and 2 right below them. You have 4K. So you have double 1080p on top and double 1080p going vertically and double horizontally. That's how 4K is made. If you're at that kind of resolution, you want something that can drive that resolution. You will not be able to game on 4K with good settings without a high-end card. I would say completely disregard 4K if you don't have the graphics horsepower to drive it. That being said, I'm running this on a 1080 Ti. I tried games on it. I've put Battlefield 1 on it, which is one of the most intense games graphically there is available right now. It could take the game on ultra and hover about 80 FPS constantly, so it was fine for that purpose. But if you're doing other things, I found a bit of a problem when streaming, because I stream at 60 FPS. I'm streaming at 720p 60. The problem is that when you're taxing the CPU a bit more, and to be clear, I am running a Ryzen 7 1800X, so it's not exactly a slouch to stream and game. The problem is when the FPS will dip below 60 in game, you'll be playing just fine because of G-Sync, but the stream will take a hit and it won't really look nice. It will look a bit choppy. So what I had to do in order to be able to stream and game on a 4K monitor, I had to reduce my settings to medium. That's the reality of it. If you're only gaming, you can pull Ultra just fine if you're running the correct card. Color-wise, it has amazing colors. I have not touched the settings of this out of the box. That is how good I think the settings are. The brightness is just right. The color rendition is fine. IPS angles, true to the name, it is an IPS. You can look at this from wherever angle you want. The colors are just amazing, accurate. It is a pleasure to work on. Why do you want G-Sync with this kind of monitor? The way G-Sync works, unlike V-Sync, is it can fluctuate the monitor refresh rate. What V-Sync does is it will try to constantly do 60, and when it can't achieve 60, it will take you down to 30. That is the nature of V-Sync because of the way monitors are built, in simple terms, of course. Now, if you want to know how G-Sync works in simple terms, it pretty much allows the 1 FPS increments, so to speak. So if your frame rate drops to 58, the monitor is able to handle 58 Hertz. So you won't really notice that much of a difference when the refresh rate changes. And with intense situations in a game, such as a game of operations on Battlefield, if you've got 64 players running around, explosions happening everywhere, the game might dip below 60. I have seen it, and G-Sync really helps with that. So if you're gaming on this type of monitor, I'd recommend G-Sync if you go in NVIDIA, and of course FreeSync if you go in AMD. But make sure you have it if you are going this high and there are risks of you dropping below 60 FPS. Another thing to consider is that when running multiple monitors, if you have a large difference between resolutions, such as my case here, this monitor you can't really see much of, is a 1080p screen, and of course we have the 4K here. What happens is, if the 4K monitor is your primary monitor, Windows will try to adjust the resolution scale for 4K, so you can work on 4K easily. But with that much real estate, you need to see the icons, and if they were the normal size on 1080p, you wouldn't be able to see them. But what happens is the scale on 1080p won't be as good, so things will look larger on the 1080p to be able to keep it looking just fine on 4K. So that might be something you want to consider if you're running multiple monitors. It's not much of a big deal, you can get used to it, but I thought I should mention it because it's something that will happen and is there. You can't really do much, but you may be able to work around it, but I left it as is. I'm not going to play around with the UI settings much, just so I can see what the experience is, just having it just out of the box set up. As we saw in the unboxing, this monitor comes with quite a large power brick, so you want to make sure you have space for that as well. It's not really much of a big deal. A lot of monitors today come with external power bricks in order to save space on the monitor itself, but if you have tight space or maybe cable management, you want to make sure you have space for that size of a power brick. It's important to note that G-Sync monitors are always more expensive than their FreeSync counterpart. This is because there is different technology applied, and G-Sync actually has extra hardware in the monitor itself to be able to do that magic behind the G-Sync technology. So always consider going the NVIDIA way will cost more. And in my opinion, I found G-Sync a bit better than FreeSync. It doesn't always do the wonders everyone says it does, and if you look around online, you'll see that there are problems with it as well. But I tried playing with and without G-Sync, and I really couldn't play without G-Sync at the settings, so I had to turn it on, and the experience was way smoother, no hiccups at all. In conclusion, I think this is a great monitor if you have the budget for it, and if you want to go the 4K route. Personally, after trying a 4K monitor for gaming, because I stream, I wouldn't go for 4K myself. The real estate on it is amazing, the workspace is amazing, you can fit so many things and still be able to work. That is something I will miss, but day to day I think 4K is not there yet. But if you have the horsepower to push 4K, by all means, buy one of these. Thanks for watching my review of the AOC AGON AG271UG. If you've liked my review, or if you have any comments to pass, use the section down below. Don't forget to like if you liked it, and subscribe for more videos in the future. Take care.